So Ring Fit Adventure. Apparently, it's an exercise-based adventure game. I don't think this is quite what we expected when we saw the teaser trailer last week. Guys, what's your initial reaction? Is this at all what you expected?
So we tossed around a lot of comparisons. Wii Fit, Wii Sports. It has to be something like that. No, it turns out the inspiration is Miitopia.
Is it really? I didn't play Miitopia, so is that really the closest?
A little bit. Miitopia was a Mii-based adventure game. You go on an RPG. You went to little nodes and fought unique monsters using that kind of stuff.
I remember that, right.
Those nodes, like they showed the world map screen for this Ring Fit Adventure, like, well, that's Miitopia. And yeah, it's just sort of a combination of all their ideas. And you know, I wasn't the most excited when we were going into this. Like, yeah, whatever. It's them exercising together. But dang it, they put it into an RPG context. I'm like, you know, this looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have called that we were getting a fitness RPG for the Switch. So I'm gonna go with a solid. I did not predict this, but it does look really interesting.
It is so weird. Like, this isn't at all what I expected, and I'm not sure if I'm as excited as I hoped I would be, but I'm definitely intrigued. What Nintendo's doing here, like, when you see the product they put together, it actually makes complete sense. It's like, okay, how didn't we see this coming almost now? Because it is like a combination of so many other elements of, you know, of Nintendo we've seen in other games. It's basically, you know, it's basically taking the concept of Wii Fitness, or Wii Fit. I just woke up, guys, sorry. Wii Fit, and making it fun. That's what it seems like they're doing here. Because Wii Fit was cool, but it wasn't necessarily fun. And it was something that was easy to lose engagement with after a few days or maybe weeks. And I think the goal here is to keep you engaged, of course, through this RPG system where you're leveling up, you're fighting monsters, you're getting better at the game, and it's just a really interesting idea. Like, they are trying to make fitness fun, and if they can make that work, they might have a huge hit product in their hands here.
It's entirely possible. I mean, I haven't had a chance to really look at Twitter and get the reactions for people, but just watching this, I'm like, you know, this is enough of a curiosity where there's enough there to appeal to core gamers, at least like, oh, this looks wacky, and people wanting to get some exercise, maybe just gamify that exercise, or, you know, more casual people like, this looks like silly fun. It's something you'd maybe bring out for a holiday and show it off to your family and friends, and maybe they get into it. Like, as they had those group sessions with the little teaser, you know, take it to a family event, show it off, maybe they'll get into it. I can see that totally happening with your parents, Andre.
Yeah, I mean, this actually could be a fun, like, you know, a fun activity to show your parents or to share with other people in general. They kind of tease that in the trailer. I don't know if it's going to the extent I was maybe hoping based on the reveal trailer or the teaser trailer, where it looked like, you know, there's a huge party setting. I'm not quite seeing that for this game. Like, I don't think it's going to be the game you kind of roll out, you know, when you have all your friends over, consistently at least. But it could be a fun thing to show off, you know, and maybe have some, you know, occasional engagement with. But this does seem to be more of a solo-based adventure. I mean, it is an RPG, so...
Now, I actually disagree with that, because, yeah, the RPG looks really cool, but they did show off, like, a mini-game mode that's kind of like a Mario Party-ish kind of thing. So, I don't know if those are maybe more than one player or how they work, but they did have some separate mode. I definitely wouldn't bring people over to show them the RPG, but I would probably try to pull them in more with the minigame set, so, assuming those are fun. We saw like 2 seconds of them.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look terribly fun to me. I mean, by themselves. Like, for me, I think the thing that interests me here is the kind of the long-term, like, you know, leveling up system they have here. Like, we are progressing through this world and you're fighting enemies and all that. Like, it's a wrapping that makes this interesting. The mini games kind of look like Wii Fit to me, except kind of a little bit lamer, actually. So I think the story here is what's really catching my interest, or maybe not story. Do we know if there's a story? Is there a story?
There's kind of a story. We got a bodybuilding dragon threatening the world, which I love how he's even in his little like bodybuilding suit along with it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I do like that. They should have what's Swole DDD here? He should be a boss.
That does seem like it would be necessary.
I want a costume so you look like the Wii Fit trainers.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Speaking of costumes, by the way, I do kind of like the look of the main characters here, where apparently the better you do, like, they go Super Saiyan with their hair, like, flaming up. I kind of love that. Like, it offers, like, that immediate feedback, which, you know, is a smart thing in a exercise-based adventure game, because you're probably not going to want reading a whole bunch of, like, small text to see how you're doing. You need, like, bright, big visuals to keep you engaged, you know, without having, like, to squint at the screen to see what's happening.
Yeah, and I think visually, I think that's another part that just brings in. It's the right mix of silly and, you know, kind of cool looking in a weird way. As you said, with the hair and everything. It's like, you know what, I can kind of dig this. This is a softer design. You got some interesting level designs here with these like Chinese palaces and other locations. They keep you active while you're running through, like you're shooting flames. You can jump. It seems rather engaging.
Yeah, it actually looks like a lot of fun. Like you said earlier, Derek, it really you described it perfectly earlier with gamifying exercise. This is an actual game, you know, whereas I think Wii Fit was trying to take baby steps towards that. You had that little mode where it would tell you, like, how many steps you took and how far it would take you between real-world landmarks if you had actually just been walking. And I think this kind of takes that to a whole other level, and you have this just entire world that you can traverse, and you actually have to run in place to move, and you have to, it looks like you push the ring con, is what they're calling it, I think, down to, like, do bursts of air to make you jump, or, you know, push it forward to shoot enemies and stuff like that. It's a really interesting concept, and I agree with Andre as well that I'm not super hyped. Like, I'm not feeling this the way I would feel a Zelda or a Mario announcement, but I'm really interested in it. Like, I want to play it, but it's out of curiosity more so than excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the potential of this. You know, if you can make exercise fun, then that's only a good thing. Yeah, the question is really how long is it going to hold up over time. I will say that watching this immediately, like, the thing that stood out to me is it reminded me specifically of getting back to Wii Fit. It reminded me of the jogging mode they had in that game, where you held a Wii remote, you jogged in place, and you would jog around like a little town with all kinds of sights on the side. This, to me, looks like a beefed up version of that, where now they're doing hand tracking stuff, you know, with the ring con, so you can do, like, different exercise-based, you know, attacks, I guess, in this case, and other movements, and there's more to it than just jogging. But it definitely seems to be taking that core experience and combining it with, as Derek was saying, like Miitopia, where, you know, the RPG layered on top. It kind of looked like, I mean, I was getting some vibes of, like, kind of like how mobile games work with the progression system combined with a sleeker version of Wii Fit, I suppose.
Except the stamina in this mobile game is your actual physical stamina.
That's brilliant.
This is gonna be a little bit tricky for some people, for I think a lot of journalists to review.
Yeah,
right.
Especially because Eurogamer got to go hands on with it, and apparently they talked to Nintendo about how long it'll be, and they said if you play for 30 minutes a day, it'll take you months to complete. It's like, how big is this? And how many journalists are they going to kill as they rush to try to get to the end of this to see everything it has to offer?
Yeah, the speedrunning community is actually going to have to learn how to run fast.
I want to see that. It's probably going to be a bunch of people holding the leg strap in their hand and just shaking it violently. So.
We're getting into old, track and field strats here.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to see Reggie on the floor, like, smacking his hands. It's going to be great. I wonder, do you guys think there's any kind of, like, online component to this? But I think this is what really push it over the edge. Like, if you can see how your friends are doing in their own RPG adventures, maybe you can team up for, like, raids and boss fights and stuff. We're all, like, working together, you know, in an asynchronous manner. I think that's what could really help motivate you to keep playing. Because otherwise I could see it being, you know, it's really fun for the first few days, and like, all right, I got my feel, I've seen what happens here, I'm kind of good.
There was no indication of that, and it feels like something they would definitely shout to the heavens, especially with it coming so soon. Like, it's only, like, a little
October,
more than a month away.
October 18th?
October 18th. And
wow.
Yeah, it's not that far away. They showed off pretty much every mode. I mean, they could still show off more, but all the basics are out there, it feels like. And it doesn't seem like there's any reason for them to hold back any type of information, because they want to hook people. So if there's a way for you to play with friends online and work together towards that, I think they would have put it out there. It's a good idea. I really like the idea. And maybe if it sells well enough, they might get added in via DLC or a sequel. Who knows? But yeah, it's interesting that they went out of the way to make these new accessories for just this one game. So, do you guys think they're going to have more games using these accessories?
I hope so. I mean, when I saw this initially, I'm like, that looks like WarioWare. Like, just see, or when I saw rather the reveal trailer, or the teaser, I should say, I'm like, that looks like they're having a lot of fun in a WarioWare smooth moves type way. And this very much is not what that is. But I think there's potential for these accessories beyond just this application. And I think it'd be fun if Nintendo did kind of embraced it, like they have for Labo and other accessories they made throughout the years, where there usually isn't just one game for it, but at least a few, or at least a few optional modes in other games. So I guess another question is as on part of, or on top of what other games you would hope they could make for it, do you think they could use existing games for this? Because I was trying to think of what else they might be able to do with it that they currently have out there. And one example is not on Switch, but when she's riding around the platform, tilting back and forth, it totally reminded me of the ring accessory, or the top accessory thing from Twilight Princess, whatever it was called, the spinner.
Yeah, the spinner.
Maybe you could play a Zelda game using these wild items.
You know what? It's interesting that you mentioned Zelda, Andre, because one of the clips shows someone holding on to what looks like a paraglider.
Right.
And steering themselves, and that's where my mind immediately went, was what if they introduced a paraglider minigame in Breath of the Wild via an update, and you could just hold the ring con above your head and steer yourself through.
They already kind of have that. They have that tower, that one tower with the dude on top. You talk to him, he played the minigame. They could just adapt that for the specific accessory.
Yeah, that would be a cool way to get people to use the Ring Con outside of Ring Fit Adventure. And it's interesting because Ring Fit Adventure does look visually kind of similar to Breath of the Wild, with a weird cel-shaded kind of art style to it. So I'm wondering if they didn't reuse the engine for that game or something like that for this.
How about going a step farther in Zelda? Literally, how about you have to wear the leg accessory around in place to move anywhere in the world?
Oh God!
Oh God! my thumb gets tired walking across Hyrule.
There'll be so many videos of people like, all right, let's run across Hyrule.
Yeah, you actually need to bring Gatorade with you this time.
What if in Mario you actually have to jump in place to do any kind of jump?
I'm not liking this future.
Yeah, I mean, even in the game, you don't jump in place to jump. You motion the ring down, so at least they're not having you jump all over the place. And they are trying to be considerate to people in apartments, because there is a silent mode where you don't have to make as big leg motions. And I like that adaptability of this ring. It's not going to be the same for everybody. You can adjust it to your skill level and gradually make it harder if you do see yourself getting benefits from this whole program.
So, are you guys going to play this game? Can you see yourself actually putting down money, picking it up, and playing it every day?
I'm not going to play it every day, but I am going to pick it up. I think at $80, it's a little steep, but the weirdness of it has me intrigued enough to want to buy in.
It has enough of its own visual identity that I'm kind of intrigued. If it had been a Wii Fit or a Wii Sports, I might not have picked it up. Maybe Wii Sports just because family stuff, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything visually interesting, but I watched the trailer here again as we were talking, and I picked up on little details like foxes running next to you as you're going through the fields, or deer running across the path. There's little touches like that add just a little bit more personality to it, and it's not just a flat go here, do this. You're exercising and you don't even realize it. No, they put a little bit more effort than that into it. And
hold on, Derek. Do you know what other game did deer crossing the road?
What?
Stunt Race FX, baby.
Oh God.
It always comes back.
It always
comes
only
back. A good thing. Full circle, full ring, if you will.
Oh boy. All right,
Andre, you need some sleep.
Yeah, you do.
So let's get back to the price tag real quick, actually. But I didn't even know the price. $80. My gut reaction to that, because this is my gut reaction, that seems a little bit expensive, especially when you compare it to Wii Fit, which was $90 when it came out. But that came with a giant electronic board. Like that felt
that
like
would
you were
body shame you.
yes, it would scream in pain every time you stepped onto it.
Not only that, like if it detected you got heavier, it would make your me fatter for you. It would say like, oh hey, you got, and it would make you thick in the middle. It's about when I quit.
Oh man. But okay, point is, like, it felt like you were getting like that to me. It felt like, okay, that makes sense. I'm getting this giant electronic board that takes batteries, sure. I'm not getting the same sense from these accessories. Like, I think they're cool, but they also look kind of like cheap. So $80 seems just a little bit expensive for that. Like, the value proposition doesn't seem to be quite. I mean, you may play this game for more. It probably is a better value proposition, but just looking at it, it seems like that probably could be a little bit cheaper.
I think that's what they have to convince people at this point. It's like, okay, here's the game, here's the accessories. I think they're going to use this month in order to convince people, like, okay, you should definitely pick this up. And what do you guys think? Is it possible that they might show off other games that use this thing before this one comes out, or will they give it one at a time in order to hook people in that way? It's like, okay, you enjoyed this, you're done playing Ring Fit Adventure, here's a WarioWare title, for lack of a better example.
I think Nintendo's going to take a wait-and-see approach. It's
a
very
wait
clear.
And see approach. I see
Go to sleep, Andre.
Or get some coffee, something, man. You're not sharp today. I'm just kidding. I think they're going to take a wait-and-see approach because if you look at the trailer, they're very clearly marketing this to people that don't have a Switch. So, you know, they make sure to mention in the trailer, like, hey, you need a Nintendo Switch to play this. So it's very clear they're not talking to us just yet.
Real quick, it is kind of fun that they're marketing to people who don't have a Switch in a time where it's going to be more confusing than ever with a Switch Lite coming up, which isn't compatible with this.
Right. Right. And they don't tell you that. They don't say,
No.
hey, we also have this other Switch that this doesn't work with, which it very clearly doesn't.
Right.
Because it also seemingly, well, I guess it could work in tabletop mode, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to see how this does and see if it generates an uptick in console sales and how that performs. And then once they've got some data behind it, because we are only, like 1 month away from this thing coming out, then we might start seeing like, hey, we released a Ring Fit update for this. So if you don't have Ring Fit, go buy this game. And also now you can use it in, you know, WarioWare or whatever the heck else they decide to use this thing.
How about Wii Sports? Like, we already saw the ring being used for some similar applications, like using it as a bow and arrow. Like, maybe it could be incorporated into some activities of a Switch Sports sequel or of a Switch Sports, you know, update on Switch.
I do want a Wii Sports sequel on the Switch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like enough time has elapsed that it would be fun again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a nostalgia there now.
Yeah, which is weird to say.
Yeah, it's true. God, we're so old.
Yep. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm completely sold on this idea. I don't know if I'll actually go out of my way to pick it up and play it consistently, but I'm a lot more positive than I was when they first teased this thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think I'm not as viscerally excited as I hoped I might be, just based on how much fun the reveal trailer made it look. But I do think that's probably a more important product than the one I was envisioning at the time. Because yeah, again, exercise, you know, there is kind of like a crisis in our country, if not worldwide, in terms of not getting enough physical activity day to day. Jeez, there we go. Day to day for most people. So if this can help like reverse that trend, that's only a good thing. And I think Nintendo's doing something really smart here in like having this persistent day-to-day engagement. You know, we actually are progressing in a game. But that is what hooks people. Like that's how mobile works. Like you play a mobile game to progress farther and farther into it, and that's the kind of trappings that Wii Fit is kind of missing. The only kind of progression you had, for the most part, was your own. You know, playing that game. And that game was kind of low-key enough that I don't think it was too easy to see much progression in it. And because of that lack of feedback, I think a lot of people just dropped it. So this one does seem like it might just be better, you know, I think it will definitely be better in terms of engagement and keeping you hooked and bringing people back. I just don't know how long that will last for, but it could be just a very important product. And I could see this possibly exploding in a Wii Fit. Maybe not quite to the level Wii Fit did, but you know, close.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think the thing that makes it interesting to us is the thing that may hold it back for others. You know, the RPG, the game type elements, for me, I find exciting, but I'm not sure that broader audience that latched on to Wii games like Wii Sports and Wii Fit will find that to be a selling point.
That's a good point.
But that said, you know, for me, this is interesting because I've been looking for a way to get back into exercise and fitness, and having a game that actually looks good and fun kind of just further gives me further incentive to do that. So I'm looking at this as like, hey, maybe I can have fun and get, you know, closer to my fitness goals at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this could be a great thing to combine with people's, you know, with what people are already doing on their own. If you're already working out at some level, and if not, it could be a great way to get you there, to get you moving more, and hopefully looking even beyond what Ring Fit Adventure's doing.
Yeah, I'm a lot more column B.
Yeah, I try to take walks every day just to get myself up and moving, but this would help even beyond that. So do a walk, do a little bit of Ring Fit Adventure, and potentially get a little bit more fit. So it has me intrigued.
Is that not the best kind of progression, is just getting better fit yourself in a game?
Yeah, it really is.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts all about Ring Fit Adventure, the leg con, or the leg strap, or the ring con accessories?
Nothing about those, but I will say, while the presentation was good, those close-ups on these people's faces were kind of scary.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Is like from the very first scene, it's like, oh, it's that kind of game. Like, you knew instantly what they were going for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the dude in the video was strangely aggressive. Like, I was put off by him. I'm like, bro, I'm not ready to get swole. Like, can we hold up?
He's got to get
You gotta
you
get the right
gains.
mindset here, Steve. Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I'm excited for this. Like, I actually do want to try it. I think it looks neat. I think it looks fun. And yeah, we'll wait and see what kind of impact it'll have, literally. But I do think this is a very interesting product from Nintendo, and maybe it'll be the thing to push the Switch to kind of like the Wii levels of success. Actually, I haven't compared it for a while. I'm not even quite sure where they rank in terms of like relative sales. But Wii Fit, I feel like we still reached a space in the gaming or in the broader.
The Wii was like a cultural touchstone.
Yeah.
Exactly, and the Switch hasn't reached that.
Yeah, everybody knew what the Wii was. Everyone was talking about it, and while the Switch is insanely popular, it's definitely not part of the mainstream conversation the way the Wii was. So
Exactly.
I totally understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. So this comes out in just over a month. So hopefully we'll be able to cover more of this. If not before then, around this launch date. So stay tuned for more coverage of it at some point, hopefully. And with that, thanks for watching. Of course, stay tuned to Game for tons more on everything else Nintendo Switch as well, both fitness related and not. Probably mostly not related, but we'll see. And with that, actually, what if we did like a daily journal type thing? Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh, yeah. Just gotta set up a camera.
A big thing on Twitch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We
right.
could definitely do like a Ring Fitness journal.
There you go.
Exactly. We could all like compete with each other. All right, we're done here. Catch you guys later. Bye.